Everyone, it's JT. Welcome back to another episode of JT Talks Jobs, where today I'm going to be talking all about personal branding. This is a hot topic with me. I am very passionate about it. Stay tuned. I'm going to challenge you. There's even going to be a personal branding game show that we're going to play. Lots of fun getting you thinking about the importance of personal brand in 2020 and beyond. It's here to stay, folks. Spoiler alert, it's not going away. You need to know how to do it. And today we're going to talk about that. But before I get started, there are always a couple things I like to do. First of all, I'm going to answer a lot of your questions at the end of today. We always talk about resources. We've got them all in one place. So make sure that you check out workitdaily.com/resources. Workitdaily.com/resources. That's where you're going to find all of our free resources. And the other thing that I want to make sure that you know is that if you want to get instant notifications about when I'm going live, one of the ways to do that is to follow me on LinkedIn. So if you go over to my LinkedIn profile, JT O'Donnell, click the follow button, which you can see here, you will get instant notifications when we're going live. So you can always stay on top of that. The other thing, if you can't be live with us, and I understand that's okay, but you want to see the recordings and all the other great content that we're pushing out through Work It Daily, just follow the hashtag JT Talks Jobs. That's our very own hashtag. We have it everywhere on all the social platforms. Follow those hashtags and you will get the latest and greatest. You'll be able to watch the recordings and all that other good stuff that we're putting out so that you'll always be in the know, even though you can't be with us live. We really like when you're live with us, but if you can't be, totally get it. All right? Awesome. Okay, well then let's get back to the show. Let's get down to the business of talking about personal branding. Again, a topic that's so near and dear to my heart because I am a stay-at-home mom of two with a pilot husband who was able to build a career in New Hampshire, which a lot of people affectionately call Cow Hampshire. That's right. When I went off to school, I remember people asking if I lived on a farm. A lot of people don't realize New Hampshire, this teeny tiny little state, is only 40 minutes north of Boston. Right? A lot of people where I live commute to the city to work. But again, perception is reality. For me to be able to build a career that I love, a business, it's all been done through personal branding. And I didn't even know what it was, but I will tell you now, it is the game changer. And once you understand personal branding and the incredible control it gives you, you want to control the message. And if that's one thing I can drive home to all of you today, when you watch this little tutorial, is that you are sitting on a gold mine. You are sitting in the driver's seat. You are a brand, and it's up to you to control that message. And I'm going to give you a lot of reasons why you should be thinking about that today. Okay, awesome. But if for no other reason, if a mom of two, in New Hampshire can do this, really anybody can. All right. You just got to get over your ego, get over your pride, and understand that this is the new reality. And you want to be on the forefront of it, not behind it. Yes. And if you're watching this today, then I know that. So you should already pat yourself on the back because you're a step ahead of the competition. All right. But let's get into the good stuff, shall we? I'm going to give you a few things that we all have to agree on right now. So we're going to agree in the comments. You are a business of one. You are not an employee. An employee believes they work for the company. They work for the company. They have a set of golden handcuffs. They get bribed with a paycheck. They don't necessarily love or agree with the way the relationship is, but they feel I am the employee, they're the employer. So they think this. No. You are a business of one. And this has come full circle, folks. The evolution of work has come full circle. When we all first went out and started to work in order to make money hundreds of years ago, we all had our own jobs. Like my maiden name is Tanner, which means my family, they were tanners, right? Leather tanners. So you have to think about how we've come full circle. The industrial era, the information era created this opportunity for us to go to work for employers, but now it's coming full circle. Every job is temporary. The rate of change is crazy. You need to take that ownership back. You are a business of one, which means you don't want to work for someone. You want to partner with someone or a company. You want to partner with them. And that's a very different mindset. When you think like a business of one, you're going to open up a lot more opportunities for yourself and you're going to have much better working relationships because it's about an equal partnership. Okay. No handcuffs, equal, right? Shaking hands. Awesome. Right. So that's the one thing I want you to tell me. If you believe with that, I want you to put yes in the comments right now. Okay. Yes in the comments. Second thing we have to believe is personal branding is you, how you provide value to your customers. So if we know that we're in a business partnership, employers are your customer, and your personal brand is how you explain how you create value. That is a brand. Okay. And we want them to have an affinity or an attraction to our brand. And so we have to really start to think about What is my brand? What's the attractiveness of my personal brand, of the value that I provide an employer? And this is really, really important, because if you don't take this in and if you don't agree with this, then you are just a commodity. Everyone out there today who is not actively thinking about their brand is a commodity. Do we all know what a commodity is? A commodity is just a thing, a product or a service where they compete on price. There's no other value other than, is it the cheapest? Is it the least expensive for what it does? Until you prove your value, your worth, until you leverage the power of your brand, you, my friends, are commodities. And companies are just going to look for the cheapest one because they're there running a business. So this is until you prove otherwise. You are just a number. You are somebody that can be swapped out. And this is really hard for people to hear, but it's true. In fact, IBM, back in the day, they started building this thing. They have so many consultants. They had so many people on the quote unquote bench, people that they would deploy. And they said, we need to put together a spreadsheet, a database, a concept to know what kind of talent we have working at IBM and where they could be redeployed. So it was a really great idea, right? So if I have somebody finishing up on a project here and they have this skill set and over in this department, they need that skill set, I don't want to go find somebody new and hire extra people. I want to redeploy people, right? So they started looking at people who had the exact same skill sets, and they called those people fungible. That's a term, fungible. A fungible person can be replaced because there's a bunch of them. And this is where most people today, professionals, don't understand how much the law of supply and demand plays a factor here. So we learn about law and supply and demand in school, which is if there's a lot of demand for something and very little supply, prices rise. If there's not a lot of demand for something, but a lot of supply, commodity, prices go down. So most workers today are commodity. Companies see them as fungible. They can swap them in and out. And you're always going to play on the price game. And this is where it really starts to kick in when you peak. If you've watched some of my shows previously, I talk about the bell curve of work. When you start out and you have no experience, there's a lot of you have no experience, you get paid really low. Then you start to build some experience, right? Some expertise, some industry knowledge, etc. And you start to raise because you're more valuable, right? Your brand is more valuable. But what a lot of people do is cap. They reach a certain level and they're like, this works. This is good for me. And they don't create any more brand value. What they forget is that every single day, more people are entering the workforce. This curve moves like a wave. And so you're sitting up here in the pinnacle of your brand and you don't realize there's all these people coming up, pushing over to the other side. So for example, I have a lot of people that get on here and tell me that they've got age discrimination. And as I've been talking about repeatedly, it's because you're getting pushed over the bell curve. The law of supply and demand's kicking in. You have a lot of skills, but there's not a lot of demand for what you've got because companies can go get it better, faster, cheaper. This is what I'm talking about. And we have to understand this if we want to compete. So if you don't want to be a commodity, if you don't want to be fungible, you need a personal brand. You need a brand that creates value so that they know, wow, there's not as many of you. Therefore, you're worth more and you're going to get more of the choice assignments. That's how it works, folks. So does that make sense to everybody? Going to stop right there. Little lesson in economics and how we factor into it as a business of one and what we have to be thinking about as we start to define our personal brand. Hopefully I'm seeing a lot of yeses in the chat. My teammates will tell me. So here's how we fix that problem at Work It Daily. So we have an entire personal branding course that people go through to explore and reveal their personal brand. Now notice what I said there, explore and reveal. And that reveal word is key. You cannot make up a brand. I'm sorry, folks, you can't manufacture today and say you have value that you don't. You have value right now based on your level of experience, whatever you've done to this point. You can't fake that. You can't pretend you're something that you're not. All you can do is explore it, figure out the valuable parts of it, and then reveal it and promote it to the world. That is the key to personal branding. You hear a lot of times these two terms being tossed around all the time, authenticity and transparency. You want brands that are authentic, real, not fake, and transparent, meaning they're honest about what they can and they cannot do. Well, if you're a business of one, then you need an authentic and transparent brand. And that starts with you revealing the best parts of yourself that you can't make up. So how do you do that? Well, we take you through a whole step process so that you can figure that out and then learn how to market it. But for sake of time today, I'm going to show you 3 simple questions you should be asking yourself to start to get into that explore mode so that you can know what to reveal about yourself. Okay? All right. Number 1 question. How do I save or maybe you do both, make a company, an employer, enough money to justify the cost of hiring me? Nobody's going to hire you just for fun. They're not going to hire you just because they like you. They have a business to run. So think business partnership, right? If you want a good business partnership and you want them to respect you, then you need to bring enough value that the return on the investment, you'll hear the term ROI, is greater than what they're investing. So if I have to pay you, let's say I'm going to pay you, I'll make it simple. I'm going to pay you $40,000 a year. It's more than $40,000 a year to hire you. Now you're saying, but I don't get $40,000 a year, JT. They take out taxes and insurances and other things. I get that. But on top of that $40,000 that they have to pay so that you can pay taxes and whatnot, companies have to pay another 30 to 40% of your salary to cover things like training, overhead to have you there, right? Office space, etc. Other benefits that they're paying for you that you're not paying for, federal and state government taxes that they're required to pay as an employer. It adds up 30 to 40%. So when you're thinking about your value so that you can communicate it in your branding, take whatever salary you're looking to make, multiply that by 140% just to make it safe, 140%. That's the amount of value you need to prove you have. And so many people have never thought about this before. Maybe this is the first time you're ever hearing this, but this is a game changer. Because when you go into interviews and you start talking about how you've saved or made companies money and you can point to the things that you've done, what you're sharing with them is, I get it. You need me to cover my costs. You need me to be worth the investment. So let me talk to you about how that's going to happen. See what I mean about partnership? Employee says, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I'll execute. Partner says, oh, I get it. It's my responsibility to figure out how I'm going to make sure that I'm worth every penny. And oh, by the way, then some. I'm going to want to make more money someday. So let's talk about the fact that if I already know how to make my value, then I get what needs to happen here. We have to partner together and I've got to create more value so that you say that I'm worth more money. Very, very important question to ask yourself. And a lot of people have never done this. They come into Work It Daily and they say, I don't know how I've created value. I've been a good person. I've been kind. I'm supportive. I'm a good team player. Folks, those are soft skills. That's not measurable. I can't measure whether or not that made or saved the company enough money to justify. I need to know what you did and the results that you got. And when you're first doing this, this can be a real learning curve. It's why when we work with people, one of the first places we do that is their resume, because obviously your resume, you've got to quantify your resume, and your resume is a very important personal branding tool. Whether you're looking for work or not, everyone should have their resume updated right now. And in your resume work history, the bullet points shouldn't be about you being a team player. It should be about the things that you did that saved or made the company money, grew the business in some way. And the first time you do that, it can be hard. That's why we work with people. We teach them how to quantify themselves and really validate their experience. So again, they're proving as a business of one, they are going to cover their own cost. All right. You've got a lot of exploration here on this question in order for you to really build a strong personal brand. So question number 2. What problem bigger than me, bigger than yourself, am I focused on solving, and the skills that I'm going to use to solve them? So this is all about purpose, right? I'm not going to get the phrase exactly right, but Pablo Picasso said, the goal in life is to find your purpose and then to give it away. Like, that's a paraphrase, right? So we have to find the skills, how we create value, the things that we like to do that create value, that are worth something, and we have to apply them to a problem bigger than us. So every company that's out there today, whatever product or service they sell, is generally built to either alleviate a pain, right? Solve a problem, alleviate a pain of the customer, or enhance the customer's experience in some way so that they desire it, right? They're either running towards pleasure or running away from pain. Think about it. Any business model out there today does one of two things for the customer. Helps them run towards pleasure, have more pleasure, or run away from pain. So you have to identify with a problem, or some sort of, good thing, a pleasure factor. And you have to say, that's the thing I want to work towards. That's what I want to serve my skills and make an impact on the world. Okay. Everyone needs to do that. We all need a purpose for our skills. And we can't sit there and think that employers are going to figure it out. Again, this is where I get frustrated with people say, well, I was an employee. They should tell me what to do and they should grow me. They should figure out what they want me to be better at. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to say, this is what I care about. These are the kinds of problems I like solving. These are the ways that I love making people happier. This is how I do it. And when you can tie to that, what you're showing is that your business of one has direction, has intent. You're in control of how you're growing. When you don't have this, you're like a rudderless boat with no map, with no destination. Not attractive. That's not attractive to an employer. What an employer wants is a business of one who knows what they're good at and knows how they want to apply it to a bigger mission. So another example of this, inside Work It Daily, we teach all of our members, once they've got their personal branding tools put together, their LinkedIn profile, their resume, we teach them how to write disruptive cover letters, which is another personal branding tool. A disruptive cover letter is where you tell the story about why you feel connected to a potential employer. So you want to be able to say, this is why I know that what you do is better, faster, cheaper, smarter, cutting edge, whatever. You need to be able to share and say, see, I've got a vision for myself. I know how I want to grow my skills. I know how I want to add value. And I get it. I see how that happens here at your company because I believe in what you're doing. I too am sharing this problem that you're working on. This thing that you're building that's so attractive, whatever it is, I get it. Here's how I get it. And here's why I want to be a part of it. Partnership. That's what employers are looking for these days. That's a good, solid partner. That's a good investment. But you've got to own your brand, folks. You've got to be able to talk about this problem and how you get it and how you want to be part of it. Okay, making sense? One more question, and then I've got a few more things to share with you. So this third question, write down, ask yourself, what are all the beliefs, the mantras, the rules of engagement, the methodologies, the processes that I have learned, that I apply, that I believe in, that I use and they've come from my past experience. So what are all these things that shape how I do my work? The value that I create. So think about that. I create value. I save or make enough money. I use that value on a problem bigger than me. And I'm effective at it. I'm proven at it. I can guarantee you success because these are my beliefs. These are my truths. These are what I value. These are the processes that I follow. These are the, structure that I use. Anytime you can present those things, they get how you execute on the brand because they've never seen you work. They're not going to know until they hire you. And you're a very expensive hire. Remember, 140% of your salary? You're a very expensive hire. So companies are scared to hire and hire the wrong person. So when you can reveal to them what you believe in, how you execute, think about it, just your business process. When we go and we buy something expensive from a company and it's like a service, you ever notice they tell you about their 4-step process or their 6-step methodology or their 10 beliefs to delivering great customer service? Why do you think they're doing that? They're doing that because it gives you peace of mind and some structure and understanding of what's about to happen. Employers are no different. When you can articulate these kinds of things, they're saying, wow, this isn't their first rodeo. This isn't their first time out of the gate. They understand this. The fact that they have this knowledge and these processes and these beliefs and these experiences means they've learned and grown with their work. So they're more valuable to me, the customer, the employer. Okay. So you really got to get a great sense of that. In our program, our personal branding, we make people map them all out. We ask them a ton of questions and map it to their skill sets so that now you're talking about your various skills and abilities and how they tie back, how you develop them, and how they tie back to some of your core values, the things that you do, so that again, they know that's just really entrenched in you and you're a truly skilled person. And I'll tell you something, you can do this at any phase in your career, because even a recent grad has had experiences, right, in high school, college, that will shape how they work. And every year that passes, they're going to get new ones. So another thing you know about personal branding is it's never a one and done. Personal branding is sort of this living, breathing thing that evolves with you. Really good people assess their brand on a very regular basis to say, is this all still in alignment? And what else have I learned? What are some of the new beliefs that I've acquired, the new values, the new mantras, the new processes, the new methodologies? How am I learning and growing? And how do I add that and explain that to people so they know, what I'm about and how I create more value? So this is an ever-going process in order for you to really continue to be attractive and relevant and, keep yourself at the pinnacle so that you're getting, earning what you want to earn and having the best opportunities. Okay. Awesome. So those are the 3 questions you need to explore in order to reveal your personal brand out there to everyone. Okay. So now I'm going to prove it to you. I told you we're going to play a game. We're going to play the personal branding game. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? It's going to be fun. All right. We're going to play the personal branding game. So I'm going to put a bunch of people up on the screen and you can pick any one of them. All right. Anyone whatsoever. Just one that you identify with. And what I want you to do in the comments right now is tell me who you picked. And I want you to tell me something about their brand, because I'm pretty sure most of you have never met any of these people. You've never met any of them. Yet when it comes to their personal brand, how they create value, how they're working on a problem bigger than themselves, or what they believe, they've let you know. All right. So ready to play? Okay, let's play the game. There we go. I've got Oprah Winfrey up there. I've got Sir Richard Branson. I have Ariana Huffington, right? I've got Warren Buffett. I've got Rachel Hollis, and I've got Gary Vaynerchuk. All right. So I've got all these people up here. Pick any one that you identify with, that you feel that you know, even though you've never met them, and tell me something about them. First of all, tell me, how do they save or make their clients money? How do they add value? How are they valuable? Or why don't you tell me a little bit about the problem in the world that they're focused on solving that's bigger than themselves? I bet you could tell me at least for one of those, the problem they're focused on solving in the world that's bigger than them. And can you tell me a value of theirs or a belief? What do you know about them in terms of what they believe in? Okay, pick any of those and let's see how you do. I'm sure you can pick a bunch. I'm going to pick one, for example. So when I think about personal branding, I'm going to jump over to Ariana Huffington. So first of all, she built up this website, the Huffington Post, sold it for hundreds of millions of dollars. And after that, she had an incident where she had such lack of sleep. She was so overworked that she fell, hit her head, and found herself in a pool of blood in her home office. And it was all because she was so exhausted, lack of sleep. So through her platform, think about it, she had built up this brand. She decided to use it to really educate the world on the importance of sleep. And she really ended up writing a book and touring and talking about the need for people to pay attention to their sleep. And now has started a new company called Thrive Global, which is all about helping people thrive, take better care of themselves, right? Create better work, life, relationship, all of it, and at a very, very fundamental core of this is the need for sleep. And tools and resources and products and things that she's focused on really helping people get a handle on their sleep. Okay. So she's taken a problem, she's taken her brand and applied it most recently towards something larger than herself that she's very passionate about. Okay. Now, I can't say that I've never met her because I have for a hot second. I was backstage in a green room at an event and she came in unexpectedly and I got to have a photograph with her for 30 seconds, but I can't say that I've spent any time with Ariana Huffington. And yet her brand has helped me to understand what she cares about. Does that make sense to everybody? So these are very large examples of personal branding. These are people who understand personal branding, put their egos aside, put their fear of what other people would think about them aside, focused on their skills, their abilities, and their brand, and have revealed their brands. And all these people are very, very different. Let's jump over to Rachel Hollis. Rachel, amazing woman, comes from had her own share of like childhood tragedies, sadness, moves to LA, starts to build up lifestyle, never went to college, and which, doesn't matter. But the fact that she built this whole online lifestyle blogging and now has written several books, best-selling author, and is out there getting women empowered, getting them to stop apologizing, right? Girls, stop apologizing, getting them to really just change how they think. I mean, amazing, amazing personal branding story. If you're not following Rachel Hollis, you should. She's just fiery. And I use the word spunky, and I just wish I was spunky. I wish I was where she is at her age. She's, obviously much younger than me. And I just admire it so much. I've just admired the way she's put her ego aside and put herself out there. It's awesome. Gary Vee's another one. Oprah. I mean, everyone on this list has opened themselves up to the world, not because they're like, oh, I want attention, but because they're truly serving a purpose bigger than themselves. And they just want to get up every day and leverage their skills and make a difference and make an impact and have value. That's what every single person on this list, and I could have put 50 zillion people on here, are doing, right? They've revealed themselves to us. They're not manufacturing anything. They've revealed themselves to us. This is personal branding at its highest form. But nobody, especially me, is telling you that you need to do all of this. This was a choice on their part, and they are doing it. But I will tell you that it is getting to the point that we all need to at least assess ourselves using those 3 questions and think about our most basic personal branding tools: resume, LinkedIn profile, social media, what you're choosing to put out on social media. You have an audience, folks. You have an audience. And that really leads me to the next piece: brand or be branded. I mentioned this at the beginning, but I'm hoping that it's hitting home right now to everybody. Brand or be branded. You can choose not to do this. You can choose to say, it's too much work, JT. What will people think of me if I start branding myself? You can make all the excuses in the world, but don't think you're not branding. Oh, you're branding still. You're out there, folks. You cannot hide. You are here. You are breathing. You are working. You're a brand. You're just a commodity at that point. You need to take ownership of your brand, right? What does it say? If you don't, others are defining you. They're saying there's you either have or have not. When you don't take ownership of the brand, people are still judging. They're still interpreting. And without that information, gosh knows what they're going to interpret. They could interpret that you're not tech savvy. They could interpret that there's nothing interesting of you. Maybe you don't have enough value to be worth what people are paying you. Okay. It could be that you have something to hide. You're trying to hide from the world, and therefore you don't have a solid brand. These are all very possible judgments. So do you want to be judged that way, or do you want to take ownership? Do you want to join the conversation? Plus, folks, something that we're teaching, for example, employers, that, employers need to brand themselves too. We're talking personal branding today and how there's no choice. You have to. Oh, make no mistake. The employers are on the hook too. Employer branding is a must-have. And let me explain why. If a company isn't out there documenting and sharing the employee experience, what it's like to work there and the positive traits and what it's like revealing, right? Exploring and revealing who they are as an employer, they're not doing that. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, someday something bad happens, to an employee or something, and that's hitting the news. When people search for that company, the only thing that's going to come up is the negative thing. Same for you. Something bad happens to you. So how do you offset a negative message? By taking control of the rest of it. By revealing all these other things so that there's enough other stuff so that people aren't just making a judgment on the one bad thing. Whether you're an employer or an employee, branding is key. Okay, here's what I want you to remember before we close out and start taking personal branding questions today. First thing, people hear what they see. Doris Day said this, famous actress. People hear what they see. I want you to think about that. So social media, it's here to stay. So you have got to put some things out on social media. I'm not asking you to put 50 things out a day. I'm not asking you, if you want to become an influencer, yes. If your goal is to become an influencer in your space, guess what? You better start tripling, quadrupling down on the amount of content you put out there. Not everybody wants to be an influencer per se, but you do need to brand yourself. People hear what they see. So you've got to pick a platform and you've got to contribute to it. You've got to contribute to the conversation. You've got to create content that speaks to your brand. The other thing is out of sight, out of mind. So if you aren't branding yourself regularly, if you aren't building a strategy for that, you are forgettable, right? The best way to make a good impression and to get people to remember you is to be very strategic in what you choose to share on a platform like, say, LinkedIn or even Instagram. On these platforms where you can get people to see you and understand your value and what you're about. Because you can't just keep posting, and you would never post your resume all the time, right? LinkedIn's out there, but you've got to have other stuff. So you've got to be able to share things like what you believe in, what you value, processes that you follow that you think are a good idea, industry trends. You've got to start to reveal these aspects of your brand in your social media feeds on a regular basis so that people see them and over time know what to associate you with. Going back to those people, the very extreme famous examples, they've done an exceptional job of being transparent, authentic in their feeds so that you can get to know them, so that I can get to know them, right? That's what you're trying to do. And if you don't do this, then don't think that you're not branding. As I said earlier, oh, you're branding. You're just branding that you're not engaged and that candidly, you don't know what your value is. So very, very important. Branding will not go away. It is a strategic part going forward. As job search evolves and we get away from these archaic applicant tracking systems, can you believe it? The technology applicant tracking systems who can't read the person. Think about it. Applicant tracking systems are built for a commodity marketplace. You're all a commodity. When you apply online, you're all a commodity. There's no way to show your additional value. That is going to change. The industry will evolve, and being able to present your personal brand will become something that's possible in order for you to not compete as a commodity and be able to show your brand value and get better opportunities. That's why networking works so well. Does everyone understand that? Networking is still the number one way to get a job. You know why? Because you're leveraging your personal brand. You're leveraging your value, your reputation, your network, your experience. That's where personal branding shines. This is why networking is so important, because you can't share your personal brand on an applicant tossing system. All you can do is throw your resume in there and hope it sticks. But you can share your brand through networking. Personal branding matters, and it's here to stay. Awesome. Okay. Woo, that was a big presentation. Did this make sense to everybody? What I'm going to do, we're going to start taking questions here in just a second, right? And let me bring that up. So there we go. And gotcha. There I am. Okay. So I'm going to take some questions now on this, and I have to bring this up on the screen so that I can see it. So bear with me. And again, if you've got questions about personal branding, share them. I'm going to answer as many as I can for the duration of today's session. But if you're looking for additional questions, comments, feedback, if I don't get to your question today, I apologize. But if you're looking to have your questions answered by myself and a team of trained career experts, you know that's what Work It Daily does. So be sure you go over to Work It Daily and check us out. We're the #1 online career growth platform. We're the #1 online career coaching club. We are where people are going to get elite level coaching so that they can up their game and get all their questions answered in private, be part of an amazing community, right? It's having a career coach in your back pocket. So if you've never checked this out, check us out. In fact, it's really funny, quick story, and then I promise I'm going to tell you this. Over the weekend, I got the most awesome love letter from a customer. And the customer said, you know, I came across your free videos, your live streams and your free videos on YouTube and every place else, and watched everything for free. And I learned so much. And I changed so much that I couldn't believe it. And I felt guilty. I thought this was so sweet. I felt guilty that I got so much value out of you for free that I decided to finally, after several months, cave and get a membership to your career coaching club. And oh my gosh, it's so much more. Now I get it. It's so much more. It's structured. It's step by step. I have someone to go to get my answers. I have other people I could talk to about this. It's all private. I had no idea. And so he said, I really think you should not give away anything for free because, you could have had me as a customer a lot sooner. To which I replied, well, actually, this worked exactly as I wanted to because I'm thrilled that you got a lot of value. Work It Daily as a company's mission is just to help 1 million people grow their careers. If you got that out of the free stuff, awesome. That makes me happy. But it's also the only way you're ever going to understand and trust us and know that we can really help you. We can be your career coaches. Folks, this is branding, right? See what I mean? Giving you advice, helping a lot of people for free and not making any money off them. Okay by me, okay by everyone here, because we know you're growing and we know our stuff. And for those people that do need the extra help, the fact that they can come and sign up for us for less than their gym membership and get help, that makes me happy. We are disrupting the career coaching industry. We're doing something nobody else is doing. And so, of course, we need to put out a lot of free, valuable content and help a lot of people for free so they can understand who we are and what we do and why we're so passionate about it. See how this branding thing works? I'm not making it up. We live and breathe this. We absolutely live and breathe this stuff because we know it works. It really does work. So, it was just such a sweet letter to see that it was working. And the fact that somebody felt guilty and then found the value, I thought was adorable. So I share that with you. Be sure to go check us out. But now let's talk about giving away a lot of free advice. Let's talk about those personal branding questions. Okay. Awesome. So first question I have here is from Aaron. By the way, when I'm not looking at you all, folks, I have to look at the questions. I don't have anything in my ear reading them to me, just so you know. Aaron says, what if you know what you like and are good at, but don't know what one problem you feel passionate about solving? Aaron, awesome question. We get this a lot. So first thing I want you to think about, Aaron, is that sometimes you're too close to it. They say that you can't see the forest when you're in the trees. Does that make sense? You're in the forest, you can't see it, right? You have to step out of the forest to see it was a forest. Okay. So when you know what your skills are, sometimes it can be really hard to see what problems it could solve. My advice to you, just like any good business would, a business would go do a focus group. If they had a really cool idea for a product or a service, they would put a bunch of people together and say, what kind of value? What could this be used for? That's what you need to do, Aaron. You need to be part of a group. Or, if you can put your own group of people together, 3 or 4 people and trust, and say, these are the skills that I love using every single day. I want to create value with these skills. So what do you think? What are the possibilities? You will be amazed at how many people can help you. And of course, working with coaches, working with people who do this for a living, we can oftentimes see and go, oh, wow, you know what? Based on that, there are a lot of possibilities. Now, that being said, I'm also going to tell you about an amazing free tool. I've used it for years. We've never bothered to build this at Work It Daily because I think this one is so fantastic. Why reinvent the wheel? So Dr. John Holland came up with something called the career interest game. And it's called the RACIC model. And RACIC stands for the first letter of the 6 types of interests. And one of the places that has done a cool job of a free version of this is the University of Missouri. So if y'all go type in University of Missouri career interest game, it will take you to a page where you'll see the 6 interests. You can click on each one and you can read about them. And what you should do is imagine you're at a party and there are 6 groups of people and you don't know anybody. So you want to walk up to a group where you feel like you'd have the most to talk about. So look at all 6 and say, okay, which one would I go walk up to first, second, and third? Those 3 letters, the first letter of each of those groups, becomes what's called your Holland code. And what the University of Missouri did was they said, okay, when you go into a category, after you validate that's who you are, down below, they matched a whole bunch of different types of jobs to the 3-letter code. So you can start to look for jobs that have 2, if not all 3 of your interests as they're tied to their job. And then you can click on that job, and this is the mind-blowing part, and they tied it to the U.S. Department of Labor's descriptions of those careers. So I love this tool because it can really shake your mind up a little bit and get you looking at jobs you probably would have never looked at otherwise. But because it's got all 3 of your career interests, there's a more probable chance that this would be something that you could leverage. Amazing, amazing tool, and it's free. So go check it out. It's a great start, but also talk to people who know you or talk to people who have done this for a living and can identify it, because all of us are too close to ourselves. It's very hard. In fact, we have something called the professional strengths assessment inside Work It Daily. It's the first thing that I ever built as a career coach, just so you know. And so I would do the strengths assessment with people in order to understand them so I could coach them. And there's 7 sets of assessments that you take to really understand yourself. And it was something that I always wanted. I built it because no one did this for me in high school or college, right? It was crazy. So one of the tools is your unique gifts. And people, this is the one they have the most trouble with because they say, I don't know, there's nothing unique about me, JT. Oh, there is. You all have something unique. No one here is special, by the way. I have no special people on this call today. I have everyone here is unique. Everyone. No 2 people are the same. Okay. It's not special, not better than, unique, different. So you need someone to help you recognize what's unique about you. And that's another reason why you want to ask feedback from friends and family. Like, what am I the go-to person for? When you think about me as somebody giving you advice or help, what am I the go-to person for? That's going to tell you a lot about the skills that your friends and family value in you. Ask your coworkers. When you had to label me when we worked together, what was I the go-to person for? What was my greatest strength? This is the things that they're going to say were unique, meaning they didn't feel they had those skills, so they valued them in you. This is how you start to define your value and understand. And then you want to be able to tie that back to jobs, which again, get some help, career interest game, but work on it, folks. The answers just aren't going to present themselves. The fact that you knew to ask this question, Erin, ding, 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 ding. Now go out and look and research and look, and you will find the answers, but they're not just going to drop in your lap. Got to go out there. You got to hunt for them. Awesome. I hope that helped me. All right. Next question is from Mark. Hey, Mark. Where would you put your branding statement besides LinkedIn? On the top of your resume? No. Never put your branding statement on your resume. Let's look at it this way. Your resume is the factual validation of your branding statement. Okay? It is the document that backs up what you are saying about yourself. Your personal branding statement is usually something that you're going to share with people when you're networking. It's how you're going to be more memorable. I don't even advise people to put it on their LinkedIn profile per se. For me, your branding statement, again, it's something that you're sharing with the world in conversation, in networking. It's coming out through that. It's something that you use to then say, okay, based on this statement, it's sort of like a vision statement for yourself. Based on that, how do I validate that on my resume? How do I validate that on my LinkedIn profile? How do I articulate that and prove that in my cover letter? So the branding statement is the foundation you use in order to deliver on all these other things. And that's very key. Because I've seen people put their branding statement, they say, I'm an optimistic visionary. Like, it's too salesy. It doesn't belong on these documents, but you need it. You need your branding statement in order to be able to guide you, point you in a direction and know what to do, right? What do you want to solve? What matters to you? What do you believe in? These are the things you have to have. It's like a document that you need, that you live by, that your brand lives by, okay? So that you can do these things. Now, a great place to start to put together some personal branding materials and then push them out would be on LinkedIn. So if you know what your personal branding statement is, you might take an aspect of that and find an article or a video that validates what you believe. And you would say, hey, here's why I believe this in my own personal experience. And this is what's happened. This article is really great about that. Boom, push it out. Now you're validating your personal branding statement. Now you're putting that out there. Okay. Proof of concept. So it's very, very different. A lot of people make the mistake. And I'm glad you asked that, Mark, trying to put their personal branding statement everywhere. It's kind of like, when you see companies putting their mission statement everywhere, their vision statement, do we really, that's for them. We don't need it. What we need to see is proof of it. That's more important. Awesome. Okay. Michael says, hey, Michael. So branding yourself is what you can do, not what job title you want. Yes. Okay, Michael. Yes. 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 That is what I'm talking about. Right. And so here's the thing. Let me explain something. I get really upset. I wrote about this, talked about it recently. When somebody asks you, what do you do? Please don't answer, I'm an accountant. I'm a digital marketing specialist. That's not what you do. That's your job title. You need to talk about the problems you love to solve, the pain you love to alleviate, the value you like to create, and how you like to do that. And I know it's awkward because society has kind of trained us all to give that one word answer, but we don't have to give that answer. You can give a more than one word answer. And Michael, that's exactly what you're proving right now. You can share your personal branding statement. When someone says, what do you do? Give them a little bit more than one word. Help them tell the story, help them visualize how you create value and what do you do. That's your chance. That's your chance to make that impression. And we're wasting it. Brand or be branded, people, right? You see why I get so wound up about this stuff, because every day we're given a chance to brand ourselves, every single day. And so many people don't take it out of fear, ego. Oh, I don't want to look weird or stupid, wasting a chance. And you know what? It's going to go this way anyways. And so you can either start now and be ahead of the curve, or you can start later and be behind. What do you want to choose? Awesome, awesome question. Lots of M's today because now we've got Maya. Hey, Maya. Maya says, how do I brand myself on LinkedIn? Do I associate myself with, do I associate myself with a company I'm working for? Would be great if you can show me a sample. Awesome question. So actually, Maya, we have done LinkedIn tutorials in the past. If you go to JT Talks Jobs, the hashtag, you can go back in the archives and see that. Also, we have a lot of resources over at Work It Daily that can show you samples. But let me just give you a little overview. When it comes to LinkedIn, again, you're validating your skills that are tied to this brand. So for us, it's more important that we see if recruiters are searching and you want to be found, you need to know the top 5 or 6, right? 5 or 6 key skill sets that are transferable, that create value. And those need to be front and center in your headline. They need to be in your about section. And then in your work history, your bullet points have to actually validate those skill sets so that you're saying, hey, here's the results that I got that prove I have these skills, and these skills together create my brand. So LinkedIn is a roll up of that. That's what you're doing there. They're going to take away what your brand is by seeing those skill sets and the validation of those skill sets in the work history. So there's a very specific process you follow. It's funny, we have videos. So we just do, okay, this is what you do in your headline. This is what you do in your about section. This is what you do in your work history, because you have to follow this formula in order to roll yourself up. But yeah, LinkedIn, it's very important that you brand yourself. And again, just like your resume, it's validating the brand. You don't put the brand on there per se. It's the conclusion they're going to draw. Does that make sense to everybody? Branding, you choose what you want to brand, what the brand message is, but then you don't just say that message. Instead, you create tools that validate that message, that gives that message. That's how you create a really strong personal brand, or in the case of an employer brand. Okay. Awesome. Great question, Maya. Okay. All right. Got a few more minutes here. Keep the questions coming. I've got one from Raj. Hey, Raj, what kind of post should you post on LinkedIn? Okay. So my favorite thing to do is to curate content on LinkedIn. So if I see an article or a video or even a quote, a graphic, and it immediately speaks to me, I'll take a minute and I'll say, okay, of all the things crawling through my feed right now, why is this the one that I had a reaction to? And if I just take a minute to think about that, it's because I've had some sort of work or life experience that validates that, or maybe doesn't. Maybe it's the polar opposite. Maybe I'm having a negative reaction. Either way, if I have a positive or negative reaction, if I have feeling towards a piece of content, I should reshare that in my feed. And I should explain why I either agree or disagree with it. And then I should go a step further and tag the person that's in it so they know that I shared their stuff. And even further, I should think about 3 people I know in my network that I'm directly connected to in LinkedIn, maybe peers, who if I was sitting in a conversation and this popped up and I had this reaction, I know they would have a similar reaction and we'd probably talk about it. And we'd probably build on what each other was saying, and we'd have a conversation around it. So I want to create that conversation on LinkedIn. So one, I'm going to share what I would say in the conversation. I'm going to tag the person that's content originated so they know, hey, hat tip to you. This was a good piece. I agree or disagree or whatever. And then I'm going to tag at the bottom 3 people that I would wish I could have in the room with me right in this second to say, all right, and what do you think? And what do you think? And what do you think? And I would say, hey, so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. And I would link to them on LinkedIn. What do you think? Question mark. Because what happens then is it goes in their feed. And they go into LinkedIn and they say, oh, wait, what's JT saying to me? And I click on it and they see this and they go, oh, all right. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Or, oh, I think this. And then they comment. And see how that goes? See how you get awareness? You don't even need to make something. You just need to identify something as good or bad, comment on it, tag 3 people, right? And then if you really, really want to be a pro at personal branding, pick 3 hashtags, because hashtagging is becoming a big thing on LinkedIn. So what you want to do is hashtag 3 hashtags that are related to it. So go research a little of the hashtags that are important to your industry, that are important to your skill set, right? And then add those 3 hashtags so that other people, when they search on that hashtag, your conversation pops up. That's what you should be doing on LinkedIn. And you should be doing this as much as you consistently can, because I know we're all busy. So maybe initially, Raj, you're like, I could probably handle that once a week, JT. I'm going to schedule that into my routine because based on what you just said, that's a lot to learn. So it's going to take me 30 minutes. So you know what? Every Wednesday at noon, I'm going to do it once a week. And then all of a sudden, a month passes and Raj is like, wow, this is really only taking me 5 minutes now. And gee, now I'm starting to see things every day and putting them in a folder, wishing, maybe I should up it to 2 times a week. So Raj starts doing it 2 times a week. Now Raj gets really proficient. He's riding the bicycle with no hands. Like, he's got it. Okay. And Raj is like, I really could do this every day. It's 2 minutes out of my day, And so I'm just going to, every morning I'm going to get up, or every day at lunch, I'm going to every day post something and share, because it takes me 2 minutes. So now Raj is at a point where he's spending 10 minutes a week, or let's go 5. He's spending 25 minutes a week posting content every day. But out of the blue, people are asking Raj to connect more. And Raj is suddenly getting, inquiries from recruiters, and friends that he knew that hasn't spoken to in a while are contacting him on LinkedIn. And all of a sudden his network is coming to him because Raj is personal branding and he's doing it in a very consistent way. So Raj, you know what to do. That's the framework. It's not rocket science, not brain surgery. I do it every single day, right? Multiple times a day, because I know it works. And so do all of the other people out there that are 100% in personal branding. They know it works. They have put their egos aside and said, you know what? This isn't about me getting attention. This is about me serving. It's me serving my network, serving value, letting people inside my head, letting people understand what I think, what I value, what I believe, showing my worth. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay, let's see. We've got a question from Piotr. I hope I'm saying that right. Piotr. Piotr. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. I hate that. How does personal branding not look artificial? When you're being artificial, Here's the thing. You're not going to get personal branding right in the beginning. It's goofy. It's awkward. A great example of that is I just started on TikTok and I'm laughing. I'm not getting TikTok right. I'm trying stuff on TikTok. Some of it's great. Some of it's not. I don't care, because every day is a new day and a new opportunity to create. So stop worrying about whether or not you look authentic right out of the gate. Create. Let you in on a tip. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to have something, and after you publish it, you're going to oh, that didn't send the right message, and you know what? You're going to learn, and you're never going to make that mistake again. And you're going to go, aha, here's a piece of content I should do instead. And before you know it, you're going to go and go and go, and you're not going to be afraid anymore. Fear is the biggest reason why people don't personal brand. Fear of the brand not landing right. Well, guess what, folks? 100% chance that something's not going to land right, but also 100% certain that you're going to learn from it, not do it again, and build off it and build something better. That's the part I know. You're never going to learn and grow if you don't do it. So stop worrying about whether or not it's authentic and just start doing it. Okay? Be who you are and learn as you go. That's the key. All right. Let's say, hey, listen, really exciting. If you are still here, then letting you in on a secret. Guess what? This Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, we are going to be taking live callers. I know, kind of scared, kind of thrilling, live callers. So we have a form, and we're putting it in the chat right now, that you can fill out if you would like to be live on the air, radio call-in style with me. If you would like to be on here, talk to me live, and let's talk about what's going on in your career world. That's what we're doing all day Thursday. It's our first time doing it. Talk about scary, right? Getting out of your comfort zone. That's what we're doing on Thursday. But we do need, in advance, we need to know, who you are, how we can contact you, and what do you want to talk about. So you can fill out the form, submit it. If you're available, 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you're here now, I'm hoping that's probably the case. You could be live on the show, get your questions answered by me. Okay, so anyone willing to do that? Again, you don't have to be on camera. It's just going to be audio. But we do need your information in order to be able to do that. So fill out the form, folks. Join me live on Thursday. Big, exciting first test. If we like it and it goes well, we'll probably do it at least once a week on the new show, okay? Awesome. Okay, I got a question from Junie. Hey, Junie. Junie says, how to brand yourself if you don't have experience in the field. Okay, so what you lack in experience, you have to make up for in other value, Junie. So obviously, you've got an idea that you've got some kind of value you can bring to the industry. My guess is that you're very passionate about the industry, and passion means knowledge. So if I was looking at branding you, we would be, as you were going through the personal branding course and Work It Daily, we'd be focusing a lot more on why you care about this particular problem or a particular, thing that this industry does. Why are you so passionate about it? Obviously, there's a reason you want to get into it with no experience. What is that? Because you've had some kind of life experience that's taught you that this is something you just have to be aligned with. That's the story. That's the brand that needs to come out. Because when people see you're so passionate, they're going to want to do that. Quick story, I've told it before, but it's always worth mentioning. A gentleman came to me. He wanted to get into financial services. He had been a manager at a paint store for a lot of years. So no experience in financial services. So when we asked him why, he shared, well, my dad died suddenly. He had a business. When he died, it turned out he was left my mom in financial ruin. None of us knew. It was all a secret. My mom was going to lose the business, her house, everything. She had nothing. He said, I had to dive in, teach myself financial services and figure everything out. And when I was done, I was able to sell the business and save my mom the house and give her enough money to at least be able to live off of. We were able to, get her to a place. I never want to see people go through that. If I could avoid that in other people's lives, that's what I want to do. That's why I want to get into financial services. Guess what? He had no problem landing a job. That was the story he wrote in his cover letter. He learned the disruptive cover letter technique. He mapped what skills he did have from managing a paint store, right, to his resume and his LinkedIn profile. So he could then, through the storytelling, say, I don't have the industry experience, but hey, here's my transferable skills. And he networked. He went on informational interviews with people in the financial services industry, said, here's my story. Here's why I want to get into financial services. Here's why I have some skills. What do you think? And he ended up getting a ton of job offers. I mean, what company doesn't want somebody like that? Talk about internal motivation to get up to skill and crush it, right? See, that's what I mean, folks. That's why branding matters so much. If you want to get around these applicant tracking systems, applicant tossing systems, if you want to work for your dream employers, the dream employers need the brand. Because until then, you're a commodity. I will say it again. Don't be a commodity. Don't be fungible, right? Be a brand. It's the only thing left to compete on. The only thing. It's how you stand out. And brand does not translate in an online tracking system. Brand is something that you've got to get in front of them. Okay. But you got to have a brand first to be able to do that. Awesome. Okay. I can take one more question. That's it. One more question for today. And then I've got to sign off. Let's see. Dilek says, would you suggest using a ghostwriter to boost my online branding? No, I do not. That's where you start to not be authentic. Not at all. I want you to learn how to do it for yourself. It is not rocket science. It is not brain surgery. What did I say? We don't create a brand. We reveal it. And you reveal it in your own terms, in your own way. And this is something, I'm so glad you asked this question because I never want anybody to leave a session like that and think that's what I'm suggesting. Not at all. Not at all. To be authentic, to be transparent, to explore and reveal your brand is on you. You have to do it. And the good news is there's frameworks. I gave you a framework today. There's a much more detailed framework over at Work It Daily. If you want to come over and join us, I'll show you that as well, right? There's other people out there. There are frameworks. You need to do this for yourself. You need to own it. You don't outsource it to someone else. You are a business of one. Right now, you need to own your brand, right? When you get big someday, if you decide you want to be an influencer, okay, maybe then. But by then, the brand is very well established and they can build a team who knows how to stay on brand. Right now, you're a one-person show. The branding comes from you. You have to do the branding. Awesome. Okay, team. Thank you so much for stopping by. Come back tomorrow. Got another session, 9:30 a.m. Follow JT Talks Jobs, the hashtag, in order to get be able to see the past recordings. So you always can be in the know. Follow me on LinkedIn for instant notifications when we're going to be going live. You can also follow us on YouTube. That's another place where we'll get instant notifications. You got to go over there and ring the bell. So find Work It Daily, follow us, come back, hang out with us. You are the best. We are so enjoying doing these live shows every week. we're on a mission to help 1 million people grow their careers in 2020. We're going to do that any means we can. And giving away as much free, valuable content is one of the ways that we're doing it. So I appreciate all of you, every eyeball that watches this, every ear that listens to this. Just go out there, because if you want to win, you've got to work it daily, right? That's it. That's what you've got to do. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Signing off for today. Take care. Bye-bye.